Adilshahi spies were watching. Reports were being sent to Bijapur, and the Sultan, Muhammad Adilshah, decided this boy is dangerous. But Shivaji hadn't done anything yet. Namaste. Welcome to a new episode in this series of videos that we have planned to explain to you the detailed stories of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. Last time we saw Shivaji, the young 15-year-old boy, take a powerful oath at the Raireshwar temple to establish Hindavi Swaraj, a kingdom rooted in dharma and justice. But dear friends, oaths alone do not shake empires, do they? Actions do. And Shivaji was slowly beginning to act quite strategically. Even though he hadn't rebelled openly, Shivaji had started something that was worrying the Adilshahi court. Shivaji had begun meeting local leaders, forging friendships, winning the trust of all officials posted in the Maharashtra provinces of his father Shahaji's Jagir. To a layman or to an outsider or to a fool, these were harmless interactions. But to the trained spies of Adilshah, this looked like groundwork for rebellion. And so their reports reached the Bijapur court. Shahaji's son, they said, is speaking too much. He is watching and observing too closely. He is up to something. Had Shivaji raised a sword? No. Had he declared war? Not yet. But for the Bijapur Adilshahi Sultanate, this boy had already crossed many lines. Suspicion turned into fear, and fear turned into anger. As suspicion around Shivaji grew, the anger of the Adilshahi court was directed towards someone else, his father, Shahji Bhosale. As you know, Shahaji at that time was stationed at Bangalore. He was one of the top generals of the Adilshahi army, and under the leadership of Randaula Khan, Shahaji had performed brilliantly. But somewhere around 1643 or 1644, Randaula Khan passes away. And with his demise, everything begins to change for Shahaji. In Randaula Khan's place rose another Adilshahi general, Mustafa Khan. A name I have mentioned before along with Khawaz Khan. I hope you remember him. Unfortunately, Mustafa Khan had no love for Shahaji. In fact, he looked at Shahaji as a threat. Slowly, Adilshahi official records started referring to Shahaji as troublemaker. With Randaula Khan gone, Shahaji lost his strongest protector at the Bijapur court. Mustafa Khan's influence and power began to grow rapidly, and so did the whispers against Shahaji. A royal ferman dated 20th August 1643 suggests that Shahaji himself was beginning to feel uneasy. In fact, he had begun suspecting Muhammad Adilshah himself. We don't know the exact reason for this, but it is quite possible that the growing tensions with Mustafa Khan was the reason behind it. And young Shivaji in Maharashtra was watching all this. He began noticing the deep-rooted bias which was existing within the Adilshahi system. His father Shahaji, in spite of all his loyalty and sacrifices and achievements, was being treated differently. Why? Simply because he was a Hindu. Among all the high-ranking officials, Shahaji and one more, Baji Ghorpade, only these two were Hindus. Everyone else in power was Muslim. And what made things worse was that there were many small Hindu kingdoms in the south that had annexed themselves to the Adilshahi Sultanate on the word of Shahaji, and that gave Shahaji a lot of influence. And this made his rivals within the very Bijapur court uneasy. Jealous Sardars started poisoning the ears of Muhammad Adilshah. Shahaji, they said, is building an army of Hindu kings. He wants to rebel. Such poison was being spread against Shahaji to the ears of the Sultan Muhammad Adilshah. When Randaula Khan was alive, no one dared touch Shahaji. But now, with his death, the vultures had started circling. Shivaji had heard all these whispers. He had seen how his father was being treated differently at the Adilshahi court. But now the Adilshahi mask of discrimination came out completely. Muhammad Adil Shah issued 3 harsh and openly discriminative regulations, targeting the very people who made up majority of his empire, the Hindus. First, it was declared that only Muslims would be appointed as the governors of provinces. Hindus, no matter how capable, were to be restricted to clerical or non-executive roles. Why? Because Brahmins and Hindus were being described in court records as those who are the disturbers of land and faith. Second, it was ordered that the rules of Islam must be propagated, and no infidel, meaning Hindus, should be allowed to insult or even claim equality with even the weakest Muslim. If a Muslim ever harmed a Hindu, he should be advised gently but never punished. But the reverse was not true. The life and dignity of Hindus meant nothing to the Adilshahi regime. Third, the Muslims were instructed to avoid all Hindu festivals, bad celebrations like Holi, Diwali and Dasera. The festivals weren't banned completely, but the Muslims were prohibited from participating or even showing respect. This was Adilshahi's version of tolerance, completely filled with arrogance. And Shivaji, he saw it all. He knew that this was not some normal mere political strategizing. This was targeted hatred towards one community. This was institutional humiliation of his people. His own father was being sidelined. His faith was being mocked. His community was being treated as second-class citizens. He saw his people humiliated, their faith insulted, their opportunities denied, their loyalties questioned. And the worst part, the Marathas had bled for this empire, this Adilshahi Sultanate. Shahaji had fought their wars, and now they were being repaid like this, with hatred. Young Shivaji was not an ordinary prince with a dream. He was a son who was watching his father being disrespected. He was a Hindu who was watching his dharma being trampled. And he was a leader who was being born out of this fire of injustice. This was no longer just about politics. It was about survival. It was about dharma. Now a turning point. Till now, it was just whispers, suspicions and humiliation. But on 1st August 1644, Muhammad Adil Shah makes his first move. A royal ferman, an official order, was sent to Kanhoji Jedhe, who was a powerful Maratha Deshmukh working for Adilshah in the Bhor division of the Mawars. The order given by Adilshah was sharp, direct and extremely dangerous. Shahji Bhosale, the letter claimed, has become a rebel to the Adilshahi court, and his agent Dadoji Konddev, who is right now operating in the Pune region and guarding Shivaji, has become useless. The order to Kanhoji Jedhe was clear. Join hands with Khandoji Khopade and Baji Khorpade, 2 Adilshahi commanders who are already on their way to destroy Dadoji Konddev and capture his territories in Pune. Kanhoji Jedhe, to whom this farman was addressed, was the ruler of the Bhor subdivision of Rohit Khore Mawar. I had spoken about this in the Mawars video. There may have been similar such farmans issued by the Adilshahi court to the Deshmukhs of other Mawars, but this is the only one farman that survives. And we get to read the actual words of the farman sent by Adilshah. I'll read it out to you. Shahji Bhosale has been excluded from the exalted court. Khandoji and Baji Ghorpade, along with other wazirs, have been sent to dislodge his agent Dadoji Konddev, who is towards Kondhana. Join them with your contingent under their instruction, chastise Dadoji Konddev and his fellow traitors and capture the territory. Fellow traitors. Who was Muhammad Adilshah referring to? Who is that fellow traitor hovering around Dadoji Konddev? I think the message was quite clear. It is also important to note that Shahaji was not even present in Maharashtra at this time. He was most likely on one of his assignments in Karnataka. But that didn't matter to Adilshah. Now this was no longer a political whisper. It was open attack on the Bhosale family. And for Shivaji, this became personal. Adilshah was not just attacking his father. He was now going to come after that very man who had raised Shivaji, Dadoji Konddev. And then it happened. Adilshahi forces marched onto Pune. Pune was not some ordinary territory. It was Shivaji's home, his karma bhumi. It was Shahaji's Jagir. But under the mere suspicion of rebellion, Muhammad Adilshah ordered that Pune and the nearby territories should be snatched away from Shahaji's control. Shivaji could at that time do nothing but watch. There is, however, no detailed narrative of this invasion. No chronicler has described what truly happened when Baji Ghorpade and Khandoji Khopade attacked Pune. But whatever we come to know today is from scattered letters here and there, some belonging to Shahaji. So somewhere between February and November 1644, the control of the Pune territories of Shahaji slips away into the hands of Adilshah. Remember these names, Baji Ghorpade and Khandoji Khopade. They may have been loyal to Adilshah, but in doing so, they turned against their own soil, against their own brothers and sisters. And that, in our eyes, makes them no less than traitors. Now one good news. Just at the beginning of 1646, that is just 1 or 2 years after this invasion, all these properties were quietly handed back to Shahaji. Shahaji regains control over this entire Pune and surrounding territories. No records are available to explain how or why. Was there a diplomatic compromise? Did someone intervene? Did Shivaji and Dadoji Konddev push back militarily from Maharashtra? Or did Shahaji make a move from Karnataka? Unfortunately, we may never know. What must have happened? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. I'll be happy to read them. But one thing is certain. This entire event remained etched in Shivaji's memory for a long time. There is one rare and curious reference found in the legendary book Shiv Bharat, which was written during Shivaji's time. Shiv Bharat is basically a biography of Shivaji written by a person during Shivaji's time, authorized by Shivaji himself. In that book, there is a verse. It refers to a speech that Shivaji gave in 1648. In that speech, Shivaji proudly recalls 3 of his past military exploits. I will read that speech for you. He says, I conquered Zawri and installed the Chandra Rao there. The Ghorpades, terrible like an enraged cobra, became pacified when they saw me, the snake charmer. This one verse is the only known reference to what must have happened when Baji Ghorpade and Khandoji Khopade attacked Pune. I'll read that line again, it's very fascinating. The Ghorpades, terrible like an enraged cobra, became pacified when they saw me, the snake charmer. Did Shivaji negotiate with them or did he militarily push back? We will never know. But the metaphor is very powerful. He is referring to the Ghorpades like angered cobras who became silent and pacified just on seeing the sight of Shivaji Maharaj. He doesn't boast of war, but he's talking about control. And what about the third exploit he is mentioning? I'll read that also for you. I suddenly attacked the chief of Fulton, put him to flight, captured him alive, and then released him. Sadly, we know nothing more about this story. No letters, no records. Just this one forgotten verse in this ancient and legendary book, the Shiv Bharat. And if you are wondering about the first exploit he spoke about, Chandra Rao and Zawadi, what about that? I will be narrating to you detailed story of this one attack in coming episodes. It's a fascinating tale, you will love it. So these three military exploits Shivaji is talking about proudly to his soldiers. And to all, this was a hint that even as a young boy, Shivaji was mastering the art of kingship. Until now, Shivaji had moved in the shadows, silently observing, preparing, planning. But that time was now over. The world was about to see the first open and bold move by a young leader who refused to bow down. In the next episode, Shivaji sends a message to Adilshah, loud and clear. He was not born to be bound by the chains of slavery. He was born to rule. So what was this open, bold and daring move that Shivaji was to take? Did he lift the sword against the Adilshahi kingdom? No, he didn't need a sword. His weapon was something far more powerful. A move so fearless that it shook the core of the Islamic Empire. So dear friends, get ready. The fire of Hindavi Swaraj is about to burn in the open.